The game I chose to do was Game 5 of the NBA Finals. The announcers were Mike Breen and Jeff Van Gundy. And the storyline going into the game is the series between Miami Heat and San Antonio Spurs was tied 2-2. Miami had won the fourth game, and Dwayne Wade had just come off an unbelievable performance. Uh, the main points that would decide Game 5 were, one, if Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh could keep up their performance and it wasn't just a fluke, and two, if Tony Parker's injury he sustained in Game 4 would get worse or keep him from putting up the numbers he usually puts up. Um, Surprisingly, this game turned out completely crazy. Their records broken. Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh proved a lot of people wrong and actually showed up for this game, but the Miami Heat still lost. Tony Parker was part of that reason. He scored a game high 26 points. But the biggest story of the entire night was not the Spurs' victory, even though it pretty much seals it for Miami. Even if it goes 7 games, I really don't see the Spurs losing 2 games in a row. They're probably going to take one in Miami and win the series in the finals. But Danny Green actually set the record for number of three-pointers in the NBA Finals in one final series. He broke Ray Allen's record of 22, and he went 6 of 10 from three-point range tonight. From a social media standpoint, that just absolutely exploded. It went from mostly trash talk to a couple of fun facts here and there on Twitter, to everybody just, after the third and fourth three out of the 6 he needed to break the record, everybody was just focused on that. Everybody was counting down, and Danny Green just hit 3 after 3 and easily broke the record. And we probably still have 2 games to go, so that this record could stay for a while if he hits a few more threes. The announcers, I really didn't like very much. It was a lot of repeating obvious calls on the court. We're already watching the game, so you don't really need to repeat what we just saw. Other than the 3-point record getting broken, there weren't any fun fact moments from the announcers, like when they're coming out of a timeout or making defensive adjustments or switching players, substitutions or anything. That's the perfect time for the announcers to keep your interest, especially early on in the game, because in basketball, games really aren't decided until midway through the third quarter, if not the fourth quarter. So I didn't like the fact that they were repeating a lot of obvious stuff that I could tell myself. It was a very good game. It was full of runs. It was Miami goes on an 8-0 run. San Antonio answers with a 12-1 run. Then Miami answers to ties it up with another 10-0 run or something. And then midway through the third quarter, the Spurs really pulled away, I think, with a 19-1 run. The Heat made a little bit of a run in the fourth quarter, but they just couldn't make up the deficit. So now the series switches back to Miami for both games 6 and 7. With most teams, I would, even if a team was down 3-2, the fact that they had home court advantage for the last 2 games, I would probably pick them to win, but the Miami Heat are notoriously bad at home court for some reason. You can contribute to a lot of bandwagon fans that don't get into the game or leave early or whatever, or just the fact that a lot of Miami Heat players don't play with the right intensity a lot of time, just whatever you want to contribute to. historically they're not a very good home court team. So now it comes down to, even if the Spurs split the last 2 games, they're going to walk away with the title. So now we just gotta wait for game 6 and 7 and see who is crowned NBA champions.